All right, seventh graders, last week you learned about area and circumference of circles. Really at this point, all you've practiced is circumference on your quiz. So let's come back to circles and make sure this week we really have both of them down and we're all practiced up on how to find area and circumference of a circle. So a lot of this is going to be review, but we just need more practice on this geometry stuff. So everybody get out page 73. It's called All Things Circles. Get your pens, whatever you're going to write with, and here we go. All right, one of the best things you can do with some of these geometry formulas is get them in your brain, memorize them, okay? One of the quickest ways to memorize something is just through repetition. It's not the most exciting thing to do, but it is highly effective. So just to make sure, just a little bit of repetition here to make sure we remember what formulas we came up with last week and we learned where they came from. Now we're just learning and making sure we know how to use them and that we're being accurate with them. We're getting the correct answers. So notice it says here, write the formulas for circumference and area of a circle 4 times. That's just repetition to get it in your brain. Now make sure you're writing it correctly. Practice makes permanent. It doesn't make perfect, it only makes permanent. If you practice something wrong, it will stick in the wrong way. We don't want that. So this says area of a circle, I wrote it once, A equals pi r squared. That's a little exponent, means multiply by itself. And for circumference, C equals diameter times pi. So I wrote it once. You guys need to copy it 3 more times. Area 3 more times, circumference 3 more times. Go ahead and pause the video and write it down. I'm not going to, I already have these memorized. You guys pause the video, fill up those. Okay, now we're ready to move forward and review. You guys are used to me giving you pictures. Sometimes you don't need a picture. Sometimes you just need the information. A circle really only has one measurement, the radius. From the radius, you can get the diameter. From the radius, you can get the area. And from the radius, you can get the diameter, which then gets you the circumference. So we don't even always need a picture. We just need the measurement. So this first section here is going to help us review circumference. So we are using this formula here. Circumference equals diameter times pi. If they say D equals, that lowercase d means diameter. So sometimes you see it in the picture and see the line go all the way across. Sometimes they just give it to you right here. Okay, I'm using this formula. Let's write it down again. The more times I write it, the better it sticks in my brain. Circumference equals diameter times pi. Now I am ready to type in my calculator diameter times pi. I don't even have to hit the times. My calculator will know to do it if I put it right next to it. And I'm going to round this. I'm going to say circumference is approximately. So I just want to clarify today that this one is an exact answer because I left the pi on it. That's why we have a symbol for it. So we do have a way to keep it in exact form. But oftentimes the decimal approximation makes more sense in real life. But as soon as we get that decimal approximation, it's now approximately. So here's a new symbol for you that's just a good mathematical symbol to know. This one means officially equal to, and this one means I had to round. So now it's just an approximation. It's just a squiggly equal sign, but it means it's not exactly equal to this. It's approximately this. And no, I did not make that up. That's a real math symbol. And it's approximately 43.98 inches. That is the circumference of any circle with a diameter of 14. All right, let's keep going. If they give me the radius, right, the first thing I need to do is remember that diameter is double that. So the diameter is 9 centimeters. That means circumference is 9 times pi. I'm going to type in my calculator 9 pi, and the circumference is approximately 28.27 centimeters. Circumference. Okay, radius. I need diameter, so I'm going to double that. Diameter is 16 feet. Circumference is 16 pi. This should seem nice and familiar to you. Circumference is approximately 50 point, careful with your rounding, 27, because the next number was a 5, feet. This should seem pretty familiar to you because this is what you did on your last Canvas quiz. You just practiced the circumference. So hopefully at this point, we're starting to feel quite good about calculating the circumference of a circle. Diameter times pi. That's all there is to it. We need to get better today at calculating the area. This is something we haven't really practiced a lot, and so we want to practice it now. Area is pi r squared. Area is pi r squared. So I have given you the diameter. So the first thing we need to recognize is I need to do half of that, or 15 divided by 2, so that I'm making sure I'm using the correct measurement. So the radius is 7.5 inches. So when you're dealing with circumference, diameter is the easiest. When you're dealing with area, radius is not just the easiest, but it's what you absolutely need. So I'm going to go area equals pi times 7.5 squared. You can write out 7.5 times 7.5, but if you write it like this, you can actually type it exactly like that as well. Pi times 7.5 squared. And the area is approximately, I'm rounding right now, so this is approximately 176.71 inches squared. Circumference is just inches because it's just a distance around. Area is inches squared because it's how many squares it takes to fill it up. Okay, let's try that again. Oop, they gave me diameter again. I need radius. Radius is 4 centimeters because I need to do area equals pi times r squared. If I wanted exact form, I could just do r squared. 4 squared is 4 times 4, which is 16 pi. That is the exact answer because it still has the pi on it. Here is my decimal approximation, 50.27 centimeters squared. Okay, that's something we got to get better at today is area. Your Canvas quiz today is going to be all about area. This one already gives me the radius, pi times 11 squared. Guess what? 11 squared is 121 because it's 11 times 11. There I have my exact answer. And you don't have to write that exact answer. I just want to make sure you guys are aware that that's the only way to write it is what we call in terms of pi. You could go right here and you could just type in pi times 11 squared. There's our decimal approximation, or you could type in 121 pi. Same decimal approximation, 380.13, approximately 380.13 feet squared. Okay, so there's just a quick review of how to find the circumference and the area. Again, this part in purple right here, this is what you're going to be doing on your Canvas quiz today. So make sure you're familiar with the area. We also have to be able to read these word problems and understand what they're asking us for. So let's give these a try. First thing I see is, I see actually a key word in all of these. This is an important review. We need more of these examples. Circumference, 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 circumference. These are all circumference questions. All these have to do with circumference. So every single one of these is going to use C equals diameter times pi. Great, that's good to know. The circumference of a circle is, this one gives me circumference and asks me for diameter. Okay. Number 8, the circumference of a circle is, this one gives me circumference and asks me for the radius. Okay, let's try both of those before we move on. If they tell me that the circumference of a circle is approximately 64, remember we plug it in for C. I am looking for the diameter. I do not know the diameter. So to find the diameter, I am going to divide both sides by pi. And the reason it says find the approximate diameter is because pi is involved. So these things are not going to come out evenly. They never do when pi is involved. Pi exists for circles because things with circles don't come out evenly. The diameter is approximately 20.37 centimeters. Look, I used that approximately symbol. The diameter is approximately 20.37. Okay, let's try this one. The circumference of a circle. The circumference is 53.4 equals diameter times pi. I plugged it in for C because I already know the circumference. So I'm going to divide by pi, divide by pi. All right, 53.4 divided by pi, 16.997. That 7 is gonna bump that 9 up, which is gonna bump that up, which is gonna bump that up. This diameter is approximately 17. And it asked for radius, so I'm going to divide it by 2. So the radius is approximately 8.5 centimeters. Don't forget, if they say, what's the radius, you got to keep going. When you divide by pi, you get the diameter. If you need the radius, cut that in half. Okay. All right, let's read these last two. Give them a try. A circular rug has a circumference of about 48.5 feet. They're giving me circumference. They're asking me for the radius of the rug. Okay, circumference equals diameter times pi. Okay, divide by pi, divide by pi. 48.5 divided by pi. The diameter is approximately 15.44. And you know what? Because I'm going to divide that by 2, I'm just going to leave that big decimal right there and I'm going to hit divide by 2. So the radius is approximately 7.72 feet. They asked for the radius. Okay, one last question. Let's check it out. A clock has a diameter. Ooh, this one's giving me the diameter of about 12.5 inches. What is the circumference? This one's taking me back to the normal way. Can you still do the normal way? Circumference equals diameter times pi. This one wants the circumference and gives me the diameter. So I get to just plug it in and I don't have to divide by pi, I get to times by pi. 12.5 times pi. Okay, the circumference is approximately 39.27 inches. So got to be able to work forward and backwards for the circumference. For your Canvas quiz today, and we'll get to some more of those backwards questions as we move forward. For your Canvas quiz today, you are focusing on area. You need to practice area, which is pi r squared. Say it out loud. How do you find the area? Pi r squared. If you have any questions, you should definitely ask.